Just realised I've done this one upside down.
Have you?
It's all right, I'll read it upside down. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sure the viewing several.
They won't notice.
Yeah, I'm sure they won't. So, welcome back once again, Renegade Masters, to the Mixdown HQ here. What are we looking at today, Sean?
Hey Dan, it's another one from Relab Development, who gave us the 480L and also the Maselec EQ. They make some nice plugins. They have recently released the Maselec Mla4 Triband compressor / expander.
It does look rather sexy.
It does look rather good.
But let's find out, is it? A little bit lackluster, comparatively, but
try to be honest.
good all the same. Okay, take us through it, Dr. Vincent.
Righty-ho. So the MLA4 is a very, very highly regarded mastering compressor. Crazy amounts of money. It's a piece of hardware that you won't find in every mastering studio, but you do see it now and again. The people that use it love it, and I think this plugin is designed for people who use the hardware and would like that same sound when they're not able to use their hardware. So I think you kind of have to look at it with that in mind. The Maselec stuff is very, very transparent. It's incredibly accurate. Let's go through it. So at the top here we have our preset panel. There's a whole bunch of interesting presets, including from some very highly regarded mastering engineers. You've got your filters at the beginning. Obviously we've got your high pass and you've got your low pass. We then have the input gain, which you can link or unlink, and you have a sidechain link, which allows you to link your sidechain, as it would imply, but it means you can have it off. You can link all the bands together, or you can link the low and the medium, the low and the high, or the low and the high mid. That's quite an interesting thing, as you'll see when you play with it. You've then got an overall threshold, which again is useful. You've got thresholds for the individual ones, an overall threshold, which means once you've set it, if you then need to like just bring the whole threshold thing down so it all kicks in a bit, you can, or to back it off. Really like that. The fact that you've got separate left and right controls means if you've got any kind of a balance mismatch, there's a good chance to fix it. You also have cut buttons for either side. Again, really useful in mastering, to cut one side and listen to the other side. Sometimes you're trying to isolate problems, that's a good way to do it. The three bands are pretty much identical in that you've got your ratio, which goes on the left is all the compression ratios, and then you go past sort of midday and go the other way, and then it becomes an expander. You've got your level control, your dB control, again set at 0, and then you can move it plus or minus. You've got your attack and you've got your release, and then you've got your threshold, and all three bands are basically the same. The only difference being on the high threshold, you've got a boost for the side chain. So what that does is throws a bit more high into the side chain only for the highs. So it just means that, you know, there's quite often not a lot of power, not a lot of voltage in the high end, but if you've got like a hi-hat or something like that, you want to throw that into the side chain with more of a boost without affecting the level. That's what you do with that. Each of the bands has a solo button, again really useful to solo the individual bands. You've got an in, you can click the side chain on or off, and really usefully you've got a THD button on all of them. So this has been modelled on a piece of hardware, so if you have that on, you have the very slight amount of colour it has. It doesn't have a lot of colour, it's got a little bit, and that gives you that, or you can turn it off and it becomes completely digital, pretty much completely clean. Over in the sort of metering section, three really clear meters. So red going down showing compression, blue going up showing expansion. You've got auto gain for each of those if you want. The output meter is obviously very accurate. There's some really interesting controls just under that. So you've got this auto spectral balance. That is genius, whoever thought of that. So let's say you're about to start doing some multi-band compression on your master. If you click spectral balance, the output won't go too far from the input, as in the overall spectral balance. You can't compress the bass so much that the level drops and you lose the bottom end. It will add the compression and then put the level back in for you. So that is great, because it means you can go to town with compression or expansion, but the overall sound, the balance of your bass, mid and high will be the same. That's really useful. There's then just a basic level, auto level, which is, again, always useful to have. There's a bypass button, there's the output gain, and then there's the mix control. And as with all multi-bands, the mix control is really useful. You can dial it back a bit, let through some of the uncompressed signal. Useful thing to do. That is about it.
Very cool.
Very cool, yeah.
I haven't really got, other than the obvious, many questions about this. It seems to be sort of all-encompassing, all singing, all dancing.
Well, it's a beautiful looking plugin. It's very clear, very easy to use. Yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about its design at all. It looks just like the hardware and works almost the same.
So I'm assuming there's a demo.
There is a demo, 30 days. Oh no, sorry. This is interesting. So 7-day demo, but once you've bought it, there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. And I think that's on all their plugins now.
Wow.
Which is cool. So it's like, you know, I really like this. I'm going to get it. You put your money down, you start using it, and you think, I'm not using it. And that happens. Sometimes you buy a plugin and you don't use it.
That's certainly money where your mouth is, isn't it?
That is a very cool thing to do, yeah. You can't argue with that.
No.
That's like, fair dues. You must really believe in your plugins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good, very good. And then, so once we've demoed, where do we get it from?
Just go to Relab Development. Yeah.
RebDev. RelDev.
RelDev.
How much is it?
It's $199, which this is really difficult.
Well, I'm not going to comment because it's not something that I'd use, buy or use.
I think, like I said at the beginning, if you use the hardware and you want a mobile version of that, this is great.
Yeah,
because it's I haven't used the hardware before, but I've read about people talking about this plugin who use it all the time, and they're like, this is almost the same. I trust them, you know, big time mastering engineers are very pleased with this. I think from a value point of view, to get a software version of that hardware that people that use it all the time think is great, you can't argue with $199.
No.
I think that's good value, especially as they're giving you a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Okay, fair. I'll take that.
Winner, winner.
Yeah,
chicken dinner all day long. There is one caveat, which is tone boosters. They do a multi-band compressor that does everything that does.
Yeah.
And more. And it's like 30 quid. So, but I understand if you're a user of this, you want something that looks the same, works the same, sounds the same. This is the one to get. And you won't care about $199.
Tone boosters are really things come in and shaking things up, haven't they?
I think they have. But, you know, a lot of the plugins out today, I mean, like, who's the guy, the AP mastering guy who moans about everything, says everything's a scam? He's started toning all that down a bit and doing some really, really good content, I think, recently. But he did another one recently. He'd invented a bit of software that analysed at sample level compression plugins, and he basically says they're all the same. Doesn't matter whether it says it's in a 76 or an API or SSL, they're all the same. Same type of compression, same everything.
Yeah.
But the thing that's different every time is the control interface.
Yeah.
So when you're setting up a 76, you know very quickly where to set everything to get the sound you want. As far as I'm concerned, as long as that is doing that, I don't care. I don't care if they're all the same. They sound different because of the way you set them up. And I think this is like that. If you're used to this piece of hardware, that's worth it all day long. If you've never used one of these in your life, don't waste your money. Go and get the tone boosters. Because there's no need to get yourself in
Great advice.
In this deep.
So, Sean, is the Relab Development Maselec Mla4 shit?
No, I don't think you can call it shit. I think $199 is worth it all day long if they give you a 30-day money-back guarantee. And notwithstanding everything I've said, if you've never used one, go and get the tone boosters. If you want one of these, it's worth it all day.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Okay, well, please don't forget to like the video.
That'd be nice if you could do that and maybe subscribe to the channel or become a channel member.
We have an Instagram, Studio Life 101.
We do. We also have a top 5 on the website, our top 5 plugins and some links where you can go and get them. And there's links to courses and a few other things like that.
So check them out down below. But until next time, sayonara suckers.
Adios.